Nilfgaard's ranks folded. Soldiers fled in fright, stumbling over felled trees and corpses. The air was heavy with the scent of resin and blood. As she caught her breath, the queen looked about. Hundreds of trees lay cut down in rows. Oak and ash enough to keep the shipyards working till winter. Niamh ordered the lumber requisitioned, yet one of the loggers approached her. A man with a face like old leather, sawdust in his hair.
Good lady, I know you war hard against Nilfgaard. I know you'd keep timber out of their hands, but then see, we won't get paid. We'll see no coin till Sintra's shipyards see lumber. It's what the Blackclads said. I beg you, have mercy. We're simple folk. Been slaving since spring, got families to feed. And hunger looms ever close in wartime.
I understand you well. You've toiled many hard weeks. 'Tis not right to leave you empty-handed,
said Niamh.
Yet if the Empire were to get the wood, they will build ships, plunder the coast from Nastrog to Blaviken. Cities will burn, hundreds will die. That I simply cannot allow.
The old lumberman uttered not a word in protest. The whole crew gathered their bundles and disappeared. They'd return to their villages, and on the way prepare to deliver their grim news. Niamh glanced at the logger's weathered hands, dirty, twisted, heavily scarred.
So be it, though it may be my loss,
sighed the queen.
Do what you must to claim your coin, while I must quickly win the war, before any shipyard turns your wood into but one Nilfgaardian sloop.
The lumberjack wept as he thanked the queen, yet Niamh left the camp disgruntled. She'd fought for naught, sacrificed troops, her only bounty, a clear conscience. Niamh looked at the logger's hands. Thick scars, crisscrossed fingers twisted by years of axe work.
This wood I cannot allow to reach Nilfgaardian shipyards,
she said.
Yet neither can I let you go hungry. I shall take the wood and pay you from my own purse.
You've a big heart, my lady. Not many folk like you, especially not in Angren. A land bedevilled in many ways. You've a big heart, my lady. Not many folk like you, especially not in Angren. A land bedevilled in many ways. Got blisters on me hands from all this work. Weren't enough the corns on me feet, ye gods. Never ends, I tell you. We'll never finish this blasted work. Work, work, work. And do I see anything from it? Even a measly, bloody crumb? Never ends, I tell you. We'll never finish this blasted work.
Your Majesty? Are you well?
Yes. Yes, but the stench.
In Angren, all decomposes, be it dead or very much alive. Rot blights trees, seeping sores torment beasts, and the whole swamp emits the acrid, stifling stench of decay. So when, in the swamp's distant corner, the Lyrians caught whiffs of smoke and roasted meat, they stopped dead in their tracks. The scouts followed their noses to a clearing framed by a palisade. Through the gaps in the posts, they spotted a small fort.
Any banners upon it? Whose do you see?
Asked the Queen.
There aren't none, your grace. Not one golden sun, not one silver lily.
Meve resolved to keep her distance and gave the fortress a wide berth. It was unlikely those who lived there would welcome her and her force. For a reason likely known only to her, Meve decided to return to the solitary fort. Meve gave the gate a few solid knocks with her shield. Moments later, a dozen armed men appeared atop the rampart. The one who led them wore a beard.
Who are you? Why are you here?
I'm Meve, Queen of Lyria and Rivia. At war with Nilfgaard, I ventured into these swamps.
Is there a war on? Hey, that's news. Certainly, but little concern to me. The name's Gimpy Gerwin, and I rule these lands.
Is that so? As conferred upon you by whom?
By me! Angren's a good bit larger than folk think. And no dukes or emperor's fingers stand to reach its every corner. Thus I just up and took this particular nook. Made it mine. So let's parley, Meve. One ruler to another. At the risk of being blunt, I don't care who wins this war. But I want to be in good standing with whoever does. So, I offer you a fire at which to warm your limbs. Also, a place at my table and beds for you to rest. On condition, you pledge to me one very small thing. To respect the sacred laws of hospitality.
Oaths I never break. Not least because I rarely make them. I don't know you at all, Gerwin, and don't easily extend trust. Thus I can't accept your kind offer, though I appreciate you having made it.
Meve's decision deeply displeased her wet and hungry fighters. For the rest of the day, they dragged their feet, any reason proving reason enough to slow or halt the march.
So be it. I do solemnly swear before the gods and my ancestors that we shall honor all the laws of hospitality.
Then you're most welcome inside.
The fort was simple, built of logs, covered with thatch. Oh, but inside, it was warm, dry. Hot, steaming dishes were piled upon platters, the tables beneath them bent from their weight. Smiles appeared on her soldiers' drained faces, and Meve's spirits were lifted at last. Gerwin proved a cordial host, and eagerly shared both food and tales. He'd led a mercenary band, and they'd stumbled into Angren, discovered a land unclaimed by any feudal lord. He'd erected the fort, then united the surrounding villages under his very own rule.
The folk here are savage, defiant,
he said, sipping wine.
I keep them on a tight lead for their own good. Elsewise they'd slit your throat first chance they got.
Late that night, Meve went to see if her mare had been dressed. In the stable, she happened on a farmhand. Recognizing the Queen, the man fell to his knees and averted his eyes. Meve noticed a strange object dangling from a rope around his neck. A human hand half rotted to the bone.
What? What is that?
My wife's hand, your grace,
stammered the peasant.
Lord Gerwin caught her sneaking some grub. Scraps, really. Took her and told me to wear it, so I'd remember what happens when...
Meve left the stable without uttering another word. She went straight to the servants' barracks. In the pale glow of her torch, she looked over the peasants. All terrified, all with fresh, bleeding wounds. The Queen felt rage rise inside her. The Queen reached for her sword, but she'd taken an oath, so her hand paused on the hilt. Gerwin was cruel, deserved to be punished. But Meve would not do the deed. The Queen blew her horn, woke her men from sweet slumber. She ordered them to assemble. They would march out at once. Gerwin rushed out, confused, to ask what had happened. Meve gave no answer, save to spit at his boots. The Queen blew her horn. Lyrian soldiers filled the yard. They hastily donned their armor, strapped on their swords. Unsure of Meve's intentions, Gerwin's men likewise stood at the ready, weapons in hand.
Gerwin!
Roared Meve.
Get out here at once!
The stout mercenary stood at his window, glaring from beneath his furrowed brow.
I don't know what you think you're doing,
He called.
but I kindly remind you of your oath and the laws.
I've seen your laws. You're strict and they're cruel. So your rule will end now. Attack!
I didn't think a queen would so easily break her word. Try them!
Awaiting your orders.
You mad? Don't shake that! To arms!
You did the right thing. We should never turn a blind eye to others' suffering.
This could hurt.
Sod it. Sod it all.
You'll never take me alive!
Try them!
My pain serves a purpose.
You sure about that?
Company, forward march!
Make love, not war.
Feel any burning? See a local healer or wise woman.
Fear not! We shall achieve our goal!
God's blast it! My breastplate chafes.
Coin never stinks, no matter how rank the pouch.
Don't like this. Cursed traitors.
Remove this pile of manure from my sight.
Lame as he was, Gerwin had been a mercenary. He fought hard, he fought well, yet still proved no match for Meve. She knocked his axe from his hand, he fell to his knees, then she cleaved his head clear off. It rolled like a gourd and came to rest at the peasant's feet.
You've your freedom back,
Growled Meve as she wiped her sword.
yet do not take it for granted. Nilfgaard is in Angren. The Blackclads will come here too. As long as the golden sun flies over the marsh, you must hide in the woods.
Meve's force left the fort before dawn. She rode at the fore, lips pursed, jaw clenched. A stain on her honor. She'd broken her word. Apart from all else, it stung on the inside.
We're free. It is the truth. The gods bless you, your majesty.
That Gerwin bloke were a monster, milady. A monster. Worse nor a pack of ghouls. Pack? No, worse nor a swarm. 1 month he kept me in darkness, and I only busted a tankard. I'll not stay here. 'Tis an evil place. Rather go with ye, even if I'm to fight Blacklads along the way.
Entering the swamp's easy. Trouble's getting out. Entering the swamp's easy. Trouble's getting out.
In the distance, Meave spotted a spindle-like shape, which soon proved an enormous, dark obelisk. It stood in the middle of a wetland clearing. Dozens of iron rings dangled from its shaft, clinking and rattling in gusts of wind. Cows, donkeys, and dogs were gathered round the stone, all tied to the rings by ropes. Their hides showed many shallow cuts, seeping blood, festering, drawing mosquitoes in swarms. A number of the animals struggled against their cords, while others, near dead, lay still in the wet, tall grass. Across the clearing, folk emerged from the woods, a handful of peasants with a mule in tow. The beast resisted, stomped and planted its hooves, perhaps sensing its gruesome fate. The Queen decided to question the peasants, and soon learned the animals were their sacrifice to the swamp gods.
They're all about, dearie. Very close. Oh, very, very close.
The toothless old woman whispered.
They hide neath murky waters. Can't feed when they hear the drip of blood. The gods look kindly on those what make an offering.
I know nothing of your gods,
said the Queen.
And if they demand such ghastly tribute, I don't wish to know anything.
Then take care, dearie,
replied the old shrew.
For what the gods aren't given, they take. Venture not into Iskith, avoid the fruit of its trees, and beware the one they call Gurnacora.
Meave nodded, raised a hand, and gave the signal to march. As the force moved on, there was mumbling in the ranks. Then all shuddered when the swamp's continuous drone was interrupted by the mule's inhuman wailing as the peasants carved bits of skin from its flesh.
Entering the swamp's easy.
All lands have their customs. All lands have their gods,
said Meave.
'Twould be rash to offend them. We too must make an offering.
The crone was pleased and eager and did nothing to hide it. When the soldiers came forth with an ox, she helped tie its lead to a ring on the stone. She then took a bone knife to the skin over its ribs and sliced. Blood trickled, the water turned red, and then it boiled.
The gods accept your offering, milady,
said the old woman, her smile toothless midst a face craggy as bark.
And we'd like to thank you for respecting our ways. Come round the village. Grub and drink'll be ample, and the tale's right strange, I dare say.
Meave took the crone up on her offer. The hamlet proved exceedingly modest, but the villagers prepared a welcome deserving of their guests. At long last, the Lyrians could enjoy a warm meal and dry their ever-wet clothes. The old hag spun her tales the whole night through, of the elves who once lived there, of Iskith's bogs, of dead trees that bore ghastly fruit, and finally of Gurnacora, the swamp's supreme mistress and most highly revered deity. The Lyrians left the village the following morn, their eyes rested, their bellies full.
Share your blood, and the Mistress of Iskith will show you favor.
I know nothing of your gods,
began the Queen, her nose crinkled in disgust.
But any that demand such grisly tribute are not at all worthy of reverence. What you do to these creatures is savagery. Savagery I can't allow.
Run us off, you can,
replied the old shrew.
For as soon as you're gone, we'll come back. As ever, we'll come back.
This I know. So I must take care to leave you naught to come back to.
Over the peasants' howls and pleas, Meave ordered the obelisk brought down. Her soldiers gripped the ropes that hung from it and toppled the shaft. As it hit the ground, it shattered into many smaller pieces.
You say you know naught of our gods?
The old woman's eyes narrowed, her voice grew darker still.
Well, don't you worry your head, sweetie. You'll meet him soon enough. They'll tangle you apart. Sow a pox among you, drive it to madness. Every last one. I curse you, all of you, in Gernacora's name.
Undisturbed by the Harridan's screamed threats, Meve rode on. But her men whispered long of the curse. It weighed on their minds, poisoned their hearts. Each misstep, misfortune, they saw as punishment for their sacrilege.
May the swamp turn red with your blood! Hail in Gwern Eagle! May the swamp turn red with your blood!
I saw them. No other way.
My boots got sand aplenty in them.
Fear not! We shall achieve our goal!
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
Discipline shall bring us victory!
Sorry, turnips back for an encore.
Coin never stinks, no matter how rank the pouch.
Through it! for you, pal! Anything.
Catch!
Erigloa.
I smell a leak.
Warum?
Water is the poison.
Diabel en Ars.
Vermögen!
Off to the front yet again.
Everything all right?
Quiet, or the commissar will hear.
Scheiß in Train!
It's not too late to walk away.
Off to the front yet again.
Company! Forward march! Sorry here.
Scheiß in Train!
Don't you worry yourself, Your Grace. We'll get her done in no time.
Meve stood waiting while her scouts cut through the tangled branches and roots that had overgrown the trail through the swamp. Suddenly, a soldier doubled over and began to retch blood. The same symptoms soon afflicted others in her ranks.
A potent poison,
was the medic's verdict. It seemed all those who'd fallen ill had shared a tent. One night, they'd chattered about an obelisk they'd destroyed and the group of incensed peasants who'd cursed them for it. Fearing for their lives, the footman had gone to a local herbalist. She'd brewed them a potion to ward off black magic. Alas, the concoction had proved poisonous, while the herbalist had vanished without a trace. The soldiers succumbed to the poison. Their agony was profound. Meve sought a rational explanation, claiming simple human depravity, not some mysterious, malevolent force, was behind the deaths. Alas, her words fell on deaf ears. The Lyrians were convinced a curse had killed their comrades, and grew yet more fearful of the ghastly dangers the next day could bring. Happily, Isbel concocted an antidote in time to deliver the soldiers from a certain and agonizing death. The mage explained their misfortune had not issued from a dark, corrupt force, but from simple human wickedness. Her calming voice and gentle smile lifted the soldiers' spirits. Trusting in her care, they soon wholly forgot the so-called curse. Meve rode at the front, her eyes fixed on the ground, and thus spotted the pit masked by leaves and branches. She tugged hard on her reins and steered her mount to the side. Alas, the cavalrymen behind her did not follow her lead. Leaves rustled, boughs snapped, and the horseman crashed to the pit's bottom, snapping his neck. Moments later, it was clear who'd set the trap when the forest came alive and a cry rang out.
It's a trap! Rally to me!
Order!
You mad? Don't shake that!
Everything all right?
Alba!
I'll fight to my last breath. Is that why?
Life is mine now.
Wise choice.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Gloire!
Water is a poison.
Trouver ni gloire!
Mahagam!
Yes? Everything all right?
Esselat Seifel!
We must trust each other.
Elherzer!
Cat's out!
A highly curious case.
Retreat! Fall back!
Caught between Lyrian hammer and Skelligan stone, Nilfgaard was shattered, destroyed. The victors now stood eyeing each other. These islanders were not like those Meve had met before. They wore no armor and carried no shields. At their fore stood a man as stout as an ox and bald as an ancient ghoul. His men called him Arnulf, the Patricide.
I thank you for your aid, Arnulf,
said Meve, extending a hand.
Aid, she says! Aid! Do you hear that, mates?
The Skelligers exchanged glances, then erupted in roaring laughter.
Not here to help yous, not at all. We're after killing. Nilfgaardians, Lyrians, it's all the same to us. Strife and blood and guts to wash away our shame.
I'm certain we can...
Ready yourself, wench! Stand and fight! Ah! Ah! Skelliger! Death brings glory!
This could hurt.
Waiting for a personal invitation?
Watch your heads!
My spirit's willing and how, but these damn boots are killing me.
Aye! Finally! Kill us!
Come on, kill me!
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
May disgrace ends here! Time I wiped it away!